regular session of the Senate in the 19th Congress of the Philippines. It is hereby called to order.
With just 2 weeks remaining before Congress adjourns for the Christmas break, the Senate intensified its efforts to advance key legislative measures for the Filipino people and the nation. Senate President Francis Cheese G. Escudero and members of the upper chamber witnessed the signing of 3 new laws, namely the Agricultural Tariffication Act, the Value-Added Tax Refund for Non-Resident Tourists, and the Basic Mental Health and Wellbeing Promotion Act. Republic Act No. 12078 is an amendment to the Rice Tariffication Law, which extends the life of the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund and increases the annual allocation from the current 10 billion pesos to 30 billion pesos until 2031. Republic Act 12079 aims to attract more visitors and help the Philippines become a premier destination for travelers by offering VAT refunds for tourists. Republic Act No. 12080 institutionalizes a comprehensive school-based mental health program, ensuring that every public and private basic education school in the country has the necessary resources and support to address the mental health needs of learners. The Senate President, together with other senators, attended the 7th meeting of the Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council to discuss the progress of bills under the LEDA Common Legislative Agenda. The Senate approved on third reading Senate Bill No. 2871, or the Chemical Weapons Prohibition Act, a demonstration of the Chamber's dedication to global disarmament and the non-proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. The Senate also gave its nod to Senate Bill No. 2797, declaring the province of Pampanga as the culinary capital of the Philippines. The Chamber also adopted 2 resolutions, namely Senate Resolution Numbers 232 and 233, congratulating and commending Senator Pia Cayetano and Padel Pilipinas for winning the group stage championship and the overall silver medal in the Asia-Pacific Padel Cup, and congratulating and commending Padel Pilipinas national team athletes Tao Yi Tan and Marian Cappadocia for being the first all-Filipino champions in the Asia-Pacific Padel Tour respectively. Senate Bill No. 2575, or the Basic Education and Early Childhood Care and Development Alignment Act, sponsored by Senator Win Gatchalian, was approved on second reading. The Senate also approved on second reading Senate Resolution No. 1248 on the Chamber's concurrence to the Reciprocal Access Agreement between the Philippines and Japan, sponsored by Senator Amy Marcos. Meanwhile, Senator Pia Cayetano sponsored Senate Bill No. 2893, the Virology Institute of the Philippines Act, seeking to establish a collaborative and complementary research and development system on virology. Senator Win Gatchalian introduced in plenary Senate Bill No. 2868, or the Anti-Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators, or POGO Act of 2024. He also presented in plenary Committee Report No. 136, which pertains to the inquiry on the government revenues from the operation of POGOs. Senator Joseph Victor J.V. Ejercito sponsored Senate Bill No. 1278, which seeks to establish a business permit and licensing office in every city and municipality in the country. Senator Raffy Tulfo sponsored House Bill No. 6505, renewing the Intercontinental Broadcasting Corporation franchise for another 25 years. Senate Deputy Minority Leader Risa Hontiveros delivered a privileged speech on the 13 undocumented Chinese aboard a dredger in Bataan. On Tuesday, the Chamber adopted Senate Resolution No. 235, congratulating Reverend Pablo Virgilius Yonco David as new Cardinal of the Catholic Church. Senate Bill No. 2872, sponsored by Senator Win Gatchalian, or the National Education Support Personnel Day Act, was approved on second reading. Key pieces of legislation were also introduced in plenary, namely Senate Bill No. 2895, or the Comprehensive Firearms and Ammunition Regulation Act, sponsored by Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa, and Senate Bill No. 2896, or the Magna Carta of Children, was introduced by Senator Risa Hontiveros. Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa also sponsored Committee Report No. 370 on the alarming cases of kidnapping, disappearances, and recent spate of crimes in the country. On Wednesday, the Bicameral Conference Committee signed the reconciled version of House Bill No. 10800, or the proposed 6.352 trillion pesos 2025 national budget. Senate President Francis Cheese G. Escudero Escudero acknowledged the challenges faced by members of Congress during the budget process as he highlighted the complexity of balancing scarce resources. The Senate during Wednesday's plenary session approved and ratified the Bicameral Conference Committee report on the proposed 2025 national budget.
To my fellow senators, I thank you for your wisdom, dedication, and steadfast commitment to shaping a budget that reflects the aspirations of the Filipino people. Your diligence and vision have ensured that every allocation in this budget stands for progress and inclusivity.
The Chamber also passed on second reading several measures including Senate Bill number 2878, also known as the Economy, Planning and Development Act, sponsored by Senator Juan Miguel Mix F. Subiri. Senate Bill number 2799 or the Metro Bataan Development Authority, sponsored by Senator Joseph Victor J.V. Ejercito. Senate Bill number 2898, which seeks to liberalize the lease of private lands by foreign investors, sponsored by Minority Leader Aquilino Coco Pimentel III. Senate Bill number 2897, amending Republic Act number 11313, otherwise known as the Safe Spaces Act by Senator Risa Hontiveros, and Senate Bill number 1273 or the Muslim Filipinos, Indigenous Peoples, and Other Denominations Access to Public Cemeteries Bill, sponsored by Senator Robin Hood Padilla. Meanwhile, Senator Cynthia Villar shepherded the second reading passage of 10 bills that seek to declare various areas in the country as protected areas. The Chamber also approved on second reading several local bills establishing land transportation offices in various parts of the country, sponsored by Senator Raffy Tulfo. Senate Deputy Majority Leader Joseph Victor Ejercito steered the passage of several local bills declaring holidays in various parts of the country on second reading. House Bill number 8214, sponsored by Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo, seeking to establish the Lucena City Hospital, was also passed on second reading. Meanwhile, Senator Gatchalian sponsored House Bill number 5851, declaring November 12 as a regular non-working holiday in Valenzuela City. Senate President Francis Chis G. Escudero sponsored Senate Bill number 2903, which seeks to reorganize the Philippine Coast Guard. Senator Joel Villanueva introduced in plenary House Bill number 10926, which seeks to renew the franchise granted to the Manila Electric Company for another 25 years. In a privileged speech, Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa questioned the agreement between the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation, the Development Bank of the Philippines, and the Tingog party list. Senators also held committee hearings to deliberate on measures referred to their respective panels. Senator Raffy Tulfo, chairperson of the Committee on Public Services, tackled bills on the motorcycles for hire and transport network vehicle services. The Committee on Environment, Natural Resources, and Climate Change, chaired by Senator Cynthia Villar, discussed bills on the disposition of the Welfareville property in Mandaluyong City. The Committee on Justice and Human Rights, chaired by Senate Minority Leader Aquilino Coco Pimentel III, presided over a public hearing on proposed measures regarding the fiscal autonomy of the judiciary, as well as the proposed grant of Philippine citizenship to several individuals. Pimentel's committee also looked into the supposed failure of local sports associations to consider naturalized citizens as local players. Senator Win Gatchalian, chairperson of the Committee on Basic Education, led discussions on various bills proposing the establishment, renaming, and separation of schools across the Philippines. In a move to promote sustainable transportation and supported the implementation of Republic Act No. 11697 or the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act, the Senate has established its electric vehicle charging station. This facility is open to senators, officials, and employees who own electric vehicles. Meanwhile, Senate personnel showcased their creativity and commitment to sustainability by decorating their hallways with eco-friendly and recyclable materials for the Deck the Halls Christmas Decoration Contest, The Senate has decided to forgo its annual holiday party this year in light of recent calamities and the President's call for austerity. The third floor, primarily occupied by the Legislation Department, won the contest with its Filipino Christmas theme. Capping off the week, the Office of the Senate President, together with the Senate Spouses Foundation Incorporated, hosted a special event for the Senate's auxiliary personnel to express gratitude for their invaluable service. Senate President Francis Cheese G. Escudero and his wife, Ms. Heart Evangelista Escudero, President of the Senate Spouses Foundation Incorporated, attended the simple event dedicated to the Senate's non-organic personnel.